Hello and welcome. You're watching Market Fatafat with me, Ankita Saxena, and with me is my co-anchor, Shrishti Sharma. Shrishti, the markets seem to be in a consolidation phase, after the run-up that we have seen. However, look at the Nifty mid-cap and the small-cap 250. They are firing on all cylinders. They have hit record highs.
Well, yes, absolutely. Though the benchmark indices are not showing much of an exciting picture today. Nifty is trend, but other than that, taking you through some of the top gainers in Nifty 50 now, then Divis Lab, HDFC Life, as well as Dixon Bank and BPCL as well are some of the stocks that are showing a gain of anywhere between 2 to 4%. But on the losing side, if we see, then HDFC Twins are actually dragging the index lower on the back of the operational update for Q1 that is coming in, and even Tata Consumers, Eicher Motors is continuing the fall that we have witnessed yesterday as well. Hindalco, Apollo are some of the counters that are drifting lower, but nevertheless the breadth of the market is quite strong at this point in time as well. So but let's move on. That was about the market picture, but this is the show, viewers, where we tell you all the stocks that are buzzing in trade today, either on the back of the technicals or on the back of the news flow. And we Ankita and me, as well as a team of researchers and our technical expert, will bring you all the stocks that are in action. And with this, let me welcome on board Sumeet Mulchhandani on the technical front, as well as Harsh and Ashesha are also joining us onto the show right now. So let's get started with all the stocks that are in focus, and let me take up the first counter and let's shift focus to Samvardhana Motherson. This counter is in focus on the back of a deal announcement where the company will be acquiring 81% stake in a Japanese Honda Motor subsidiary that is into supplying the sunroof as well as fuel. Thanks to Honda Motor, the company has acquired 81% stake in a little over 1,000 crores, and analysts believe that this particular deal is quite EPS accretive because the margins of this particular company are in double digits, and that's significantly higher than Samvardhana Motherson consolidated margins. Other than that, if we talk about, then the company has plans to expand their product portfolio as well as expand in some different geographies as well. And after this deal, we have seen that from 1% contribution of Honda Motors in Samvardhana Motherson overall financials, it has now inched up to 6%, and that's definitely seen a good momentum because Nomura has actually upgraded the counter from a neutral rating earlier to a buy rating now, and that's the first counter we are highlighting for you. Samvardhana Motherson up anywhere between 6% right now.
That's right, Shrishti. Samvardhana Motherson is up almost 6%. But let's quickly go across to what the management had to say about the news.
We expect it to be a net cash accretive transaction at that stage. I mean, net cash balance sheet that we will be acquiring at that stage as well. It is a double-digit EBITDA margin business. It is generating close to 95 odd million euros of EBITDA. We do not see this as we anticipate this to be a fairly EPS accretive transaction, whichever way you frankly cut the piece.
We believe that very, very strong partnership is being formed with the acquisition of this company. Very, very positive outlook on where we can take this and significant insourcing opportunities, which will continue to drive a higher ROS.
Right, then we will move on to the other stock that is a buzz today, and that is Colgate Palmolive. Now, Colgate Palmolive is up almost 4% in trade, and it has hit its 52-week high, and it is on the back of notes that came out. Now, remember, 2 days back we had a note coming out from Nuvama, and Nuvama, according to Nuvama's note, they have maintained a hold on the share with a target price of 1,710 rupees per share. Now, they say that the company is driving they're driving the regularity of brushing and premiumization, and they also see Colgate, leverage the high recall value of the Palmolive brand, which has a recall value of a good 60 to 65%. They also see a very sustained inflow from, Colgate's innovation funnel. However, they feel that, their stock movement and also their market share, that is something that we need to watch out for because that could take some time to gain. However, there was a note by MK today, and they have initiated a sell call on Colgate Palmolive, and they have actually given a target price of 1,560 rupees per share. Now, according to them, they have the company has very limited focus on driving category penetration. per capita consumption, and Colgate's margin fixation is also a point of concern. So on the back of these notes, Colgate Palmolive is in focus today, up almost more than 4.5% in trade.
Okay, let's move on and let's shift focus to another counter that is in focus. And for that, we are going to our let's go across to Sumit next. And Sumit, what about Spark? This particular counter is seen to be buzzing today from the pharma space. Tell us what kind of targets you are looking out for this one.
Hi, good afternoon to all. So, if we check the technicals, it has given a good trend line breakout after a long time. If we see the high was in the February 22, that was around the levels of 340, and after that, there was a downward channel in the stock. But in the last 3 months, it has shown the some stabilization, and currently the stock is trading nearby the high of quarterly high. So we are expecting a much more higher levels from this. Good breakout with the follow-up also, and previously week it has shown the highest volume with the delivery base. So we are expecting the target of 260 and 280 from here. Current market price is 215, so one can keep a stop loss of 190. So good stock to accumulate.
All right, then let's move on to Ashesha. Ashesha, tell us what is the stock? Genus Power is the next stock that's in focus, I believe on the back of the order book. Take us through the details of why is this stock in news today?
Well, yes, the stock is in focus. In fact, it is soaring in trade today, over 19% higher as we speak. Now, the company has signed an agreement with GemView Investment Private Limited. This is an affiliate of GEC Singapore. And the company said that this company and Genus Power will set up a platform to fund smart metering projects, which is an initial pipeline of about $2 billion US. The board, apart from this, has also approved fundraising. This will be done by a private placement to the tune of 519 crore rupees. In fact, we did speak to the management earlier in the day, and they said that the order book stands at about 6,500 crores, and they maintain their revenue guidance of 12,000 crores for FY24. The funds received from GIC, which is the peg for today's news flow, will be infused in the platform and will also be used for working capital requirements. Lot of tenders have already come out from many states, and they said that they are, as far as demand is concerned, there are no constraints, and they are retaining their FY24 revenue guidance. So strong management commentary, and on the back of this deal that came through, this stock is soaring in trade today.
Well, thank you so much, Ashesha, for highlighting why this particular counter is up around 19%. But moving on, a lot of companies from the financial space are coming up with their Q1 updates. We'll be discussing it one by one, but kind of an update we are getting from this.
Well, yes, clearly strong numbers there, Srishti. What we can see is advances grew a solid 20% on a year-on-year basis. Mind you, this was not one of the larger banks either, so the advances are still below that 75,000 crore mark, but nonetheless, a solid 20% growth. And more importantly, it kind of signifies for RBL Bank that the problems with regard to provisioning as well as therefore limiting their growth are now firmly behind the bank. A couple of quarters of good solid growth, 4% uptick on a sequential basis, and in a quarter Q1 generally, which is seasonally weak for banks. That's a very strong number indeed. Let's though look at the deposit growth number as well. Deposits were up around 8% on a year-on-year basis, around 1% sequentially. So slightly tepid on the deposit front, but growth there nonetheless. Also, CASA grew around 12% on a year-on-year basis as well. So a couple of positives playing out in favor of RBL Bank.
Right, Harsh. Now we'll quickly move on to Sumit. Sumit, now the next stock in focus is Tata Motors. Now, Sumit, if you look at Tata Motors, in the last 6 months it has given an up movement.
Advice to look at the closing today. If it is giving the close, just exit once, and shorters also take a new fresh short position from here. So we are expecting a 5% downside from these levels.
Okay, moving on, and let's shift focus from the pharma space. Two counters are in focus on the back of a new deal announcement wherein Stelis Biosciences, that is a subsidiary of Strides Pharma, is actually sold one of its unit, that is Unit 3, to another pharma listed player, that is Syngene International, where Syngene will acquire the multimodal facility from Stelis Biopharma. And Stelis Biopharma has actually signed a binding term agreement, and the consideration is all in cash at 702 crores. The facility covers both the drug substance and the biologics drug substance manufacturing capacity, and they will also be investing another 100 crores for further expansion and production. So that's why you are seeing Syngene up around 2% in trade today, but investors are not finding it a great deal for Strides Pharma, and the stock is drifting lower with a cuts of around 6% right now.
Right. Well, then let's move on to the next counter. Sumeet, the next stock in focus is PNB. PNB in the last 1 month has given 11% returns. What are you penciling in going forward? It is up to more than 2.5% today. What are you penciling in for this particular counter?
There is a symmetrical triangle breakout in the stock in the daily time frame. If we draw a trend line from December 22, so stock has given the fresh breakout. So we will just advise to accumulate the stock in all the dips and the current market price also. We are expecting a good high return from here, approximately 20%. So the next target can be 69 and 73, and 51 can act as a stop loss here.
Right. Moving on then, the next stock in focus is Macrotech Developers. Now it is primarily on the back of the Q1 updates that have come in. Now Lotha has achieved its best ever Q1 pre-sale performance, and the pre-sale is up 17% on a year-on-year basis. However, the pre-sale is down a good 11% on a sequential basis at 3,350 crores. Now the collection was down 8% on a year-on-year basis, and it was down almost 18% on a sequential basis, and that came in at 2,400 crores. The net debt, however, has come off 18%, and it is currently at 7,260 crores versus 8,800 crores on a year-on-year basis.
Okay, so that's the operational update from Macrotech Developers. We're moving on from the consumer space. We are seeing a lot of counters in action. And Sumit, on to your list, it's Bajaj Consumers. Tell us how are the charts looking like for this one, and with other FMCG players in action, are you looking out for some buy trade in this one?
Yes, the stock was not performing from a long time, but in the previous week it has given a consolidation breakout, which is almost from the February 22. So after 1.5 years, the stock is showing some bullishness. So on the weekly time frame also, stock has crossed the previous resistance of 180 to 185 zone, and currently trading nearby the 200 levels. Today also in the morning session, the stock was up by 4 to 5%. Right now it is 3%. But we will just advise to accumulate this stock with the stop loss of 178. So next target can be 250 from here.
Right. Moving on then, Shesha.
This is a 16 times FY25 price to earnings. As far as order book is concerned, ICICI Securities says that their strong order book is expected to drive robust execution ahead. At the end of March quarter, they had an order book of about 8,163. The company has guided for 20% plus revenue growth in FY24, and they say that given the robust order book position that the company has, they expect revenue CAGR of 23% over the period FY. Operating leverage-led margin improvement is expected to boost PAT further. This is what ICICI Securities believes. They expect margins to improve to 11 to 11.5% in FY24 and 25 versus 10.7% margins that the company had reported in FY23. So initiating coverage note with a buy rating, target price of 800, strong management guidance and strong commentary that has come in this report, and that is the reason the stock is buzzing in trade today.
All right, then the other stock in focus that is in news today is Dixon Technologies. Dixon Technologies, it is down almost 3.5%, more than 3.5%. Now, the reason is that it is on the back of a note that Jefferies came out with. Now, they have downgraded the stock to hold from buy, and they have hiked the target price to 4,550 rupees from 4,350 rupees. Now, It appears that the risk reward is a bit stretched post the sharp rally, according to Jefferies, and they also feel that the EMS order book is influenced by sales budgeting by brand owners, and they also feel that the current weak demand poses a downside risk, to the existing high growth forecast. And on the back of that, Dixon Technologies is down more than 3.5% in trade.
Well, that's Jeffrey's downgrade that is clearly showing onto the charts. But Sumit, this particular counter has been on your radar as well. Tell us what are the next targets you are looking out for Dixon Technologies.
As per the technicals also, we have many reasons for the selling pressure also. On the top of the current bull run, it has formed a bearish engulfing, and this is the fifth time the stock has got the rejection in last 1.5 years from the same levels of 4650 to 4700 zone, and we have got the confirmation also. Right now today we are getting the follow-up, so more further downside can be. So if anybody is holding any for the delivery, we will just advise to exit at the current market price. The next level we are expecting is around the 3850 levels.
All right, then exit at the current market price. That's the word coming in for Dixon Technologies.
You're looking at loans which have actually shrunk 6% on a sequential basis, and that doesn't look too good in in a setup where we are seeing 15+% growth at a ground level from scheduled commercial banks. So clearly credit growth is back in a big way, but Bandhan Bank clearly not matching up to that. In fact, growing just 7% on a year-on-year basis as well, compared to that 15% number where industry is growing. So that's one piece which is dragging the stock today. Let's also talk a little bit about the deposits. Deposits absolutely flat on a sequential basis, up around 17% on a year-on-year basis. Not too bad, but absolutely flat nonetheless. Let's also look at CASA. CASA actually degrew around 3% on a year-on-year basis. So not looking very pretty in terms of the quarterly update picture. Let's also look at the other news making headlines for Bandhan Bank. The CFO has resigned, Sunil Samvardhani. His last date is going to be the 30th of September, as he wishes to pursue opportunities outside the bank, and he's been with Bandhan since 2015. So a couple of these reasons why the stock is dragging in trade today, down 3+%.
Well, yes, Bandhan Bank under pressure today, but from the diagnostic space, Sumit, you have picked up Thyro, and what a great move in this particular name, especially in the last 15-20 minutes or so. Tell us what are the next target you're looking out for Thyrocare then?
Not on the 15 minutes, it has shown the good bull run from last 10 sessions. If you say the stock at 50 levels, and today also it is giving the good up move. So there was a resistance around the 510 level. Stock has given the closing in the previous week, but today only we are getting the confirmation of that resistance breakout. So today is today it is able to, if it is able to give the close above the 200 moving average, that is around 550. So we are expecting a good bull run from here. So next target can be 630 and 740.
Okay, 740, that's the target coming in on Thyrocare. But let's move on and let's focus to the cement counters, because CLSA has come with a note where they say that the strong demand and the cost reduction fairly priced in for all these cement names. But on the spot cement prices, the cost and demand run rate, they see 5 to 12 companies, but Dalmia Bharat and Ultratech Cement are their top bets.
Right, then moving on, Sumit, CDSL is another stock that's on your radar. Tell us what are you penciling in for this particular counter?
I think this is the third or the fourth time we are discussing the same stock. In the previous week also we advised to continue to hold this stock for the levels of 1200. That was the first target we were expecting. So today the stock has made the 1190 level, but still it is looking good to hold. So one can hold with the stop loss of 1130 here. Stock is if the stock is giving us the weekly closing above the 1200 levels, then it can be a candidate for the round bottom. So round bottom targets can be 1350 and 1450. That are the two levels we are watching for the next 3 to 6 months.
Okay, Those are the targets that you should be watching out for CDSL. We're moving on to Ashesha now. Ashesha, you have picked up IOC. All these OMCs are buzzing in the recent past. Tell us what's the news flow today on IOC.
Well, yes, all marketing companies are in focus, and that is because of their fundraising plans. In fact, VPCL on the 23rd of June, and the environment itself is very strong. This is viewed negatively by the street. IOCL fundraising in any case was on expected lines. The stock did dip in early morning trade but now has recovered. In fact, as we speak, it is trading with gains of 0.4%.
Right. Moving on, then the next stock in focus is Astral. Sumeet, tell us why is the stock in focus? What are you really, garnering for this stock?
Stock has made the multiple top. The same levels were there in the September 22, and from the same level, the stock has got the rejection. There was a consolidation of almost 15 days, and yesterday it got the breakdown. Today we are getting the follow-up also for the stock. So looks more weak till the levels of 1785 and 1730 here. So we will just advise to exit at the current market price.
Okay, that's the take coming in on Astral. But with this, viewers, it's time to slip into a short break. But don't go anywhere. We'll be right back to highlight more of the stocks that are in focus today. Stay tuned.